to Fun and Learn Smart. I am Tanishka. Today we're going to read Fancy Nancy and the Late Late Night. Have you ever slept so late? Well, if yes, then how did you feel? And if you said no, then that means let's see how Fancy Nancy does in the late late night. And how does she feel? Let's see. This is Fancy Nancy. I adore visiting my neighbor, Mrs. Devine. Here we are having a tea on her veranda. That's fancy for a porch. Ooh, look, nice porch. Here are some flowers. And here's some plants growing. Ooh, look at that nice little pumpkin teapot and a tiny cup. And some yummy food. I really like that. When she was a child, Mrs. Devine lived in Hollywood. Hollywood is a type of place. She used to see lots of movie stars. Only Mrs. Devine calls them celebrities. Isn't that fancy? She has a special scrapbook of photographs. Some are autographed. That means celebrities signed them. Ooh. Your scrapbook is extremely fascinating, I say. Fascinating is even more interesting than interesting. Ooh. So it's interesting than interesting. Ooh, that's nice. So this is her house. You could see that. And here's some posters. Oh, and these are some famous peoples. There's a man over there and a lady. And here's some tiny little posters. This one says, The Miracle of Morgan's Creek. This is cool. Ooh la la! Mrs. Devine says, I can borrow her scrapbook if I bring it back tomorrow. Mercy, 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 I say. That's a scrapbook. That's nice. Do you have a scrapbook? Well, I do. I have a scrapbook of loads of photos. At home, I pretend that I am a Hollywood celebrity. I dress up in my most glamorous attire. That's fancy for clothes. Look at her room. A poster of a nice little lady. And her room is a big mess. You could see that. She'll have to clean up a lot when she's done. I give my autograph to all my fans. I pose for photographs. Okay, so here are some autographs and here are photographs. So autographs are when people sign them, but photographs, they are the pictures. Like when you have a camera and you take a picture of someone. I am late for a glamorous Hollywood party. I tell my fans, are you real bored? You say it like this, a revoir. That's French for goodbye. On my door, I put up a sign that says, do not disturb, because celebrities need their privacy. I want to look through Mrs. Devine's scrapbook, but I hear my dad calling us all to dinner. After dinner, I learn all my spelling words. I am practically an expert at spelling. Before I know it, Mom says, Nancy, time for bed. Oh no, I haven't had a second to look at the scrapbook. I beg my mom to let me stay up later, but my mom says no. It's a school night. Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow you can stay up later. Okay. I put on my nightie and I get to bed. My parents kiss me goodnight. Sleep tight, they say. But guess what? I am not going to sleep. Under the covers, I have console. That's fancy for hidden, a flashlight, and the scrapbook. Oh no. Do you know what's going to happen? Let's see what happens. I stay up very late. It's almost 10 o'clock. Then I put away the scrapbook and turn off my flashlight. I bet even celebrities don't stay up this late. The next morning, when my dad wakes me up, I am exhausted. Exhausted is even worse than tired. Oh no. Now you can see what happens. This is the part we have to see. We better see this. At recess, I am too exhausted to jump rope with Bree and my friends. Oh, she can't play. I missed 3 of the words on the spelling list. My brain is exhausted too. Ball, that's correct. Family, not 2 M's, just 1. Thing, correct. Because, not right. Has to be a U instead of a W. Surprise. That's not how you spell that. Feather, okay. So she missed 3 words in her spelling test. After school, I return Mrs. Devine's scrapbook. She asks if I would like to stay for dinner and watch a movie called National Velvet. It's on TV tonight. It's about a girl and a horse. I loved it when I was your age, she says. It sounds fascinating, but I can hardly keep my eyes open. Aw, Fancy Nancy can't even do that. Why is she crying? Let's see. I go home and I start weeping, which is fancy for crying. And my dad asks, what's wrong? I confess. I was naughty. I stayed up late last night and I had a terrible and exhausting day. My dad doesn't scold me. He says, now you'll understand why you need a good night's sleep. That night, I go to bed even earlier than my sister. Ooh. On Saturday, I wake up feeling glorious again. Glorious is fancy for wonderful. And guess what? Mrs. Devine taped the movie for me. I can see it tonight. Dad was right. Even fancy girls need their beauty rest. Now you could see why Fancy needed a good night's sleep. She was being very naughty. She should have read that scrapbook later. It's question time! Answer the 3 questions. Why do you have to go to bed? Pause the video if you need more time. Well, we need to go to bed because our body needs some rest. We need to give our body some rest. And you saw that Fancy Nancy was naughty and she did not rest. And then you saw that she was so tired in the whole day. She was sleepy because your whole body works. So when you start your day, you wake up fresh in the morning. Then you keep on working. Your brain, your muscles, everything starts working in your body. Then in the nighttime, that's when your body gets a rest. But if you don't rest those times, then guess what? You will feel sleepy because your body gives you a signal to stop. You have to stop working on the nights. In the nights, you have to go to bed. Some rest for your bodies. Now let's see the next question. What does Fancy Nancy do in the night? Well, if you remembered, the answer was that you remember Mrs. Devine. She gave her scrapbook. And Fancy Nancy, she was naughty. She took the scrapbook and she read it. She read the scrapbook without going to bed. She should have read it later. She should have read it next time. She can ask Miss Devine, but she was very naughty. How many words Fancy Nancy got wrong in her spelling test? Well, you saw in her spelling test, she got 3 spelling words wrong. 3 spelling words wrong in her spelling test. And it was family, because, and surprise. Good job for answering the questions. I hope you listened carefully and got them right.